Greetings, my name is JC,
And I'm Ian.
and welcome to the Gamers Gaiden. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking about peripherals. But before we get into that, Ian, what have you been playing this week?
I'm going to stop you right there, JC,
Yep,
because you have some big
I
news.
do.
So, JC, what have you been playing this week?
Well, same thing I've been playing the last week and the week before that. Road to gold, bitches! Yeah, finally made it to gold on Saturday and went 3-1. It was pretty nerve-wracking because on the third game, which was a loss, um, well, first I did really, really well on the first game. And then on the second game, I did really, really well again, and the ADC basically got properly fed, and I managed to get Zyra in all of my promotional games.
Nice.
In the third game, it was kind of nerve wracking because our lane wasn't doing very well, and neither was top lane, if I recall correctly. And
Okay.
jungler was a little bit behind as well, so I was like, I don't know if we're going to win this. We didn't. And then I was certain at one point in the game that we were going to lose in the fourth final game because the ADC was autofill. I think they secondaried bot to be fair, but they played Sivir into Jin, and I don't really think that matchup is overly favorable. Just
They said it
because.
was a Draven.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it was a Draven.
That's an even worse matchup.
Yeah, especially with like the current builds with Draven.
Yeah.
And
He's a real strong solo carry champ.
yeah, he was like 7-0, like 10, 12 minutes in or something like that.
It
Like
happens.
we had like chat FF15, but the Scion in the top lane, thank you Scion, not that you're watching, but him and the mid laner basically carried. So
Sometimes it's all you need.
sometimes that's all you need. So yeah, and then to get to the actual promotions was nerve wracking as well because I think I played a good 5 games where it was like a win loss, but I was gaining 4 LP with a win and a loss.
Okay.
So I was sitting in the low 70s, and then I would win, and then get in like the early like 90s, and then I would lose, and then win, and then lose, and then win, and eventually I got to the promos. I was just like, God damn it, just like give me 2 wins in a row. That's all I need. But yeah, so that's what ended up happening to get there. Zyro was specifically banned, and I played more Lulu in my games between 50 LP and 100 LP,
Okay.
which is kind of cool. I got another Mastery 7 token with her, so I only need one more Mastery 7 token with Lulu, which is kind of cool.
Congratulations.
And yeah, put my focus, turn my focus up, and just finally got there. So, woo!
Congratulations.
Now I just have to not lose it. Yeah. And on top of that, I wanted to play another game that was a little bit more chill, basically. Although it has a lot of micromanagement to it, so a lot of less chill, but a lot of reading.
Sometimes that's a relaxing thing for people.
Yeah, and so there's a game that's been in development, and it still is for the past year, year-ish, called Foundation. It's kind of like SimCity 2013 without all of its bad aspects.
Okay.
So basically, you're a medieval town, and you have villagers that come in, and you have to basically micromanage each of the villagers because they have wants and needs. Like they want a church, or they want to buy goods.
Of course, medieval villagers want a church.
Yeah. And they want like certain they like certain jobs. I think some of them are better at certain jobs and stuff, but you can level them up in different things, and you kind of have to tend to their needs.
I noticed that. That looked really cool. That
Yeah.
They had different jobs.
Yeah, and so I played that for 2.5, 3 hours basically. Just kind of got my feet wet. Like I said, it's still in development, so I'll probably not play it too much. But I was kind of in the mood to play some sort of like resource management or economy management game, and I just didn't really feel like playing Railway Empire, so I picked this game up, and it's the first game that I've decided to back that or buy that. Is in development. So I'm usually pretty wary about that, but it looks like it's almost complete. So if they add in anything, then it's probably just more quests or something like that. Because
Sometimes you can get really surprised with the early access stuff. Like
Yeah.
I bought a few things on like Steam early access
yeah,
that were real like how would garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to find a nice word for it, but real garbage.
Yeah,
And
I know.
but the thing is, like, by the time they hit full release, they're actually pretty decent. And then you have
Yeah.
something, you're like, oh shit, this is actually real good.
Yeah, and they're trying to get people to buy it early to help them with testing and stuff like that, obviously, because it's a small indie developer. But yeah, a year ago it looked pretty rough, and now the interface looks pretty rough. So I think they're probably just fixing up the interface and adding in a few more features to round it out a little bit.
I
But
mean, it looked pretty good from what I saw.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty solid as it sits right now. So that's the second game that I played.
Nice.
And yourself, Ian?
I've still been working my way through Final Fantasy VII.
Cool. Where are you now?
I'm on disc 2.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've lost 3 members of my party.
Okay.
So, for anyone who hasn't played it, no huge spoilers. I mean, I guess kind of spoilers, but
The game came out in '97. I mean.
true. But yeah,
If
no,
you're an
I'm
RPG fan and haven't played Final Fantasy VII by now, you're either really, really young or you're missing out.
yes. But you know what? Well, what surprises me the most about it so far is how well the story actually still stands up. Because like I mentioned last week, I haven't played it in
Yeah.
a number of years,
Hmm.
and it's still real good. Like I'm really enjoying it,
Yeah.
and it's been engaging. I have not put it down.
What I always found interesting with the story is it is out there, but it kind of like it, in my opinion, it kind of stays within its own sphere of like out there-ness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Where like it kind of at least tries to make sense, whereas like Resident Evil sometimes tries to do that, but then they always throw in that random stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Resident Evil is way messed up.
Yeah, definitely some cases for sure.
But no, I've been playing a lot of that, and the game I actually mentioned last week
Hmm.
that I was going to purchase when I purchased the other 2 games that I mentioned,
Right.
Manual Samuel. I
Yeah.
finally played a bit of it,
Okay, cool.
and it's a lot of fun.
Cool, cool.
It's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Octodad.
Oh,
For
okay.
anyone who played Octodad. Yeah, you have to go 24 hours on full manual control as Samuel. So you have to like control his breathing. There's a button to breathe in, button to breathe out. You got to blink, move all his limbs independently.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a driving section that's a lot of fun
Oh, okay.
because you've got to like
So there's a whole bunch of connected mini games or something for your day?
pretty much. I haven't gotten real far, but yeah,
Right.
it seems to be a bunch of little mini games.
Yeah. I bet you the breathing was probably a hard part to begin with.
It's the breathing isn't too hard. It's the not exhaling too much
Oh, okay.
because you can just hold down and he'll like until
Pass
he's like
out.
blue, yeah, and you're just like, oh geez, and then you start like inhaling again.
Right.
Same with the blinking.
Oh,
The
okay.
blinking kind of throws you off.
Yeah.
Occasionally, you'll just notice his eyes are getting really pink,
Dry.
and the screen's getting kind of blurry, and I'm like, oh geez, and you just start blinking a bunch. And
Yeah.
but no, it's a lot of fun. There's a section right at the beginning where you have to get ready in the morning,
Okay.
and you pee, and have to try to like pee in the toilet,
Sure.
and it's just a disaster
Mm.
in the best possible way. It's amazing. So if you like if you enjoyed Octodad, this is kind of a side-scrolling Octodad.
Oh, okay.
And
I've seen people play that game. It looks kind
the
of funny.
story is equally as weird.
Okay.
So yeah, no, that's been my week. I'm looking forward to stuff coming out soon. So that's sort of
What games are those?
Bloodstained.
Oh, okay.
That comes out in 2 weeks, I want to say.
Yeah, in a couple
I
weeks.
think it's 2 weeks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really stoked for that because I've seen a bunch of early footage. They actually changed a whole bunch of it too, due to
Right.
some complaints. So
Are
yeah,
you
I'm pretty
planning on
stoked.
getting that on the Switch or?
Yeah, I'll get that on the Switch.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing. Cool, cool.
It looks pretty great. But anyways, we have a bunch of other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about peripherals. So before we started, we wanted to actually go and sort of define what it is that we mean about peripherals. Because,
Yeah, like what exactly we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Because we could include some things and not some things, so we just kind of came with a base explanation of what we're talking about. So what we're not talking about are basically console attachments that actually play games. So for example, the Sega CD, Super Game Boy attachments, or the Nintendo e-reader, which is kind of like a gray area, but we're not talking about those as a peripheral. Those are kind of like console attachments, meaning they're a console only attached to existing
Yeah,
console.
they essentially play
Yeah.
their own
Yeah,
games, or they
exactly.
have the ability to play their own
Yeah,
games,
so
I
we're
should
more
say.
talking about basically anything else that attaches or connects us to the console, which doesn't actually play games but interfaces with them. So anything from the actual first party controllers to third party ones to a whole bunch of different ones that we're going to get into. So, yeah. And our general thoughts on peripherals, Ian, do you want to start with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm outside of your standard controllers. I am kind of indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, I don't love and or hate peripherals,
Right.
with the exception of some of the really like gimmicky stuff
Mm-hmm.
that just seems pointless.
Yep.
Which I'm not going to get into too many because I know we do have a section later on where we talk about stuff that we really don't like.
Yeah.
And I'll hit on it there. But yeah, outside of the gimmicky stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I can take it or leave it. I like like a standard controller is awesome,
Yeah.
but I don't need a fishing rod to enjoy the game to its maximum enjoyment levels. I'll still enjoy it. I'll enjoy it either way. If you hand me the fishing rod, I'll still play the game.
Fair enough.
But if you're like, oh, I don't have a fishing rod for the Sega Bass Fishing, I'll be like, then what's the point? I'll still play Sega Bass Fishing with, the regular
Yeah.
Dreamcast controller.
And although I agree with you that I don't mind playing the games either way, I do really like peripherals on consoles outside of the core, like first party controllers. Everything from light guns to that fishing controller to the DDR dance pads. I find that they add very interesting elements of gameplay to the actual games themselves. And I do agree on some of the gimmicky ones, which we'll get into on later because they're kind of just trying to sell stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, first what we'll get into are our favorite and least favorite controllers.
Yeah,
And
like that's sort of the main peripheral, right?
yeah,
Is
it's the
is
one
how
that
you
kind of,
interface with
yeah.
the console itself.
And
So
so with this, what we're talking about is the first party controllers. So we're talking
yeah.
about like the OG Nintendo controller to the Xbox One controller and like everything in between.
So what would you say is your favorite controller?
Currently, as it stands, I like the PlayStation 4 controller the best.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what about the PlayStation 4 controller does it for you?
So the PlayStation controller just in general to me is probably the best controller. It's kind of proof point is that like they constantly change it in micro changes to just to be a little bit more comfortable. The buttons are a little bit more tactile. I like the placements of them. Like even the spacing between the four buttons of the square, circle, triangle, and X are changed a little bit. And how they actually like click has changed over the years too. And just the placements of everything, even the analog sticks have like moved over a bit slightly, and the wings and stuff like that have slightly changed. And I think it's just gotten. I found the original PlayStation controller very very comfortable at the time,
Yeah, same.
and I just felt it got better and better and better. The PS3 I don't think was that much of a difference between the PS2 controller because it was kind of almost identical.
It was a Bluetooth version of
Yeah,
the
basically. Yeah,
PS2
and it was a
controller.
little bit different with its like sizing and stuff like that. But with the PlayStation 4 controller, I think they really got it down. And I'm very curious to see what PlayStation does with their PlayStation 5 controller. And they've shown like BS controllers and stuff like that. But I'd like to remind people that they did the same thing at the PlayStation 3. They had that weird wing thing
Yeah.
that was like a boomerang, and that never came out. I'm pretty sure it was just like, haha, look,
I can
this is
tell
funny.
I'm going to call it right now. I can tell you exactly what the PlayStation 5 controller will look like.
The PlayStation 4 controller?
Yeah, just with
Yeah. And it's
like a
great.
minuscule modification,
Yep.
which I don't hate. I do
Mhm.
most of my gaming,
Yeah.
non-handheld gaming on a PS4.
I would say because sometimes I like claw grip controllers. Depending on what game I'm playing, if I need to play like press more of the buttons, the options or start button is kind of a little close to the triangle and the touchpad. So sometimes I've accidentally like hit like with my this finger the touchpad, but touched the option button at the same time. But like I'm if I would have done it with my thumb, that wouldn't have been a problem. But
I'm
let's
not
say
a
you
huge fan of the
really,
share button.
I don't know why it's there.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I see why it's there, but I just never use it.
No,
Yeah.
it just makes me angry because occasionally you'll press it and then everything will stop
I
or like
used to do
slow
that.
down.
I used to do that with the share button because I was like, oh, I should probably press select because that'll be a menu thing, and it's actually
Yeah.
just the touchpad. But now I've gotten used to it, so yeah. But yeah, that would be my favorite first party controller. And yours, Ian?
The Xbox One controller.
Oh, we got to fight on our hands. So
We gotta fight on our hands. No,
why is this your favorite controller?
so even though moments ago I said I do the bulk of my game playing on a PlayStation 4,
Mm-hmm.
but if I sit down and I'm gonna play something on the PC,
Yep.
I will grab an Xbox One controller
Cool.
for sure. I personally I've always found the Xbox controller since the S model
Okay.
of the original Xbox.
Which it's the small version of
That's the
the
small
yeah
version, yeah, not the Duke.
yeah which
Even
sucked.
even though I didn't have I didn't hate the Duke, it was big. I don't have monstrous claws,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I after they released the S, actually I think that's when I picked it up.
Right.
Was when that came out, and
Yeah. If I had an Xbox, I would have bought that controller right away.
it it was comfortable. The button placement made sense. The triggers have always had so this is gonna sound weird. Good action in them. Like they have a very nice spring,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
and
tactile feel of the buttons.
yeah,
Yeah.
like they're. I love that they have the trigger buttons and then shoulder buttons, which yes, the PS4 controller is more similar to that now
Mm-hmm.
because they do have more of a trigger
Yeah, they
on the
have
bottom.
had a trigger since the PS3.
But it's yeah, that was holding the controller for the first time. I was like, oh man, it feels great. And then the 360 was just an improvement upon the previous one, and I enjoy that they will take criticism and comments
Yeah.
and actually work towards making the controller better.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid to change things up. I mean, they drastically changed everything from the Duke to the S.
Yep.
And then the S has just been further refinement. Like the each step along has just been further refinement on the S,
Yeah.
I find. And it's that I don't find a lot of like wasted space on the controller. Um the placement of everything makes sense. I don't have this giant touchpad on the front, which I don't hate the touchpad. It's just it's sometimes you can accidentally hit it. It takes up a lot of real estate on the controller.
Yeah.
And I rarely accidentally hit the like home button on an Xbox One controller. So
Yeah. Fair enough.
it's to me it's the most comfortable controller. I do most of my gameplay, like I said, on the PlayStation 4, but something about the offset thumbsticks
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
has just always been more comfortable for me.
I find it interesting how the placement of the analog stick seems to be a lot of people's like
That's
largest point
yeah,
with
it's like the
why they
big
like one
sticking
over the
point
other.
as to why
Yeah.
you would go one way as opposed to the other.
Yeah, and like I know like the Saturn analog and the Dreamcast controller have the same placement as the Xbox placement,
Yep.
although it doesn't have a second analog stick,
No.
obviously. But the initial one and the Nintendo Switch has the same placement as well, where they're offset.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny because like I think that's one of the main reasons why I really like the PlayStation One is because how they're
They're side by side.
they're side by side because it's more even. And what's kind of funny too is I actually really like the Switch one as well, but I mainly play with the digital pad with the Switch games, and that's probably one of the reasons why. Because like a lot of the games that I play on the Switch don't necessarily require
The Pro controller.
yeah, the pro. Well, almost all my games use the pro controller, but a lot of them are like side-scrolling games and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And like other than like Mario or Zelda, like which I'm going to be using both of the analog sticks for, like yeah, I'm pretty much using the digital for Mega Man or something like that, or a fighting game or something. So
So, What would you say is your least favorite controller?
So my least favorite controller is basically all the Nintendo 64 stuff. Yeah, I hate the Nintendo 64 controller with a passion. I always have. It wasn't a retroactive look. It was, I saw it in a magazine and I'm like, at first I thought I had to like go like this, and then I realized you had to go like this, or sorry, like this. Like it's just not comfortable
No,
at
it's
all.
it's it's
And
not
I understand people love
great.
the game so much that they overlook the controller, but like I couldn't. It was a major reason why I did not get into Nintendo 64. And if you had that controller growing up, I apologize for you. You should have played with something better. Like even the GameCube controller, which isn't that great, is
Actually,
miles
I
better.
liked the GameCube controller. I found it was quite
I
comfortable.
didn't like how the center of it kind of bulged out with the rumble part. They should have just put it in the wings. So
Yeah.
because it made both my pointer fingers uncomfortable because it kind of had to lie on them. So I would prefer that flat because almost every other controller is flat on the back. So my hands are already kind of used to that. That's one of the reasons why I didn't like the 360 controller as much either, because I like kind of just like lying my hands there if I'm not using the triggers. So yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's
Because if a
fair.
game doesn't use the triggers often, then I won't bother like putting my fingers up there. Or just I have like three ways I hold a controller. So yeah, I'm weird, but still, yeah. My
It's
least
true.
favorite controller is definitely the Nintendo 64 controller. Its controller shape, the analog stick placement, its smoothness of like moving the actual analog stick around. It's just a lot of people just have to jut it. It's very stupid.
And they were really prone to breaking.
Yeah,
They
yeah, especially with like the. I think it was fine until Mario Party came out. Mario Party
yeah,
was
it was
basically rip everybody's Nintendo 64 controllers.
but even now to go and find a Nintendo 64 controller,
Yeah,
it's
they're all off center.
yeah.
They might not actually play off center, but like it's basically it will lie like this, but it won't like move, if that makes any sense, because the center give is way too much.
Yeah.
Whereas in comparison to like if you at the time used a Dreamcast controller or a PlayStation controller with the analog buttons, you could like slightly move up in comparison and then walk your character versus run, versus where I feel like a lot of the time in Nintendo 64, like you could do that, but like it was like you had to like really move away from center to start walking and then to
Yeah,
the edge to
you're almost
run.
fighting against the controller a lot.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I find that the current third party, I know we're talking first party, but the current third party controllers, because you
Hmm.
can get new N64 controllers that are third party, are just, they don't work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've
Hmm.
had so many issues with them.
Yeah, I've never had any interest in getting them, but I found them
Yeah.
very interesting.
Well,
Yeah,
I did because of the issues getting a good quality
yeah.
used one.
Hmm.
But
But the last points that I would mention about the N64 controllers before I finish that up is like stuff like the rumble pack and the memory card. Memory card I'll go over first. I really like memory cards, which I get into later, but like what was the memory card used for the Nintendo 64? Next to nothing.
that's
Like
true.
most of the games just were saved on the cartridge, so why even bother having it? And then the rumble pack, it was way too low and heavy, and it had batteries in it, so it made it even heavier in it. So it's like, why did it have batteries in it? My PlayStation DualShock controller didn't have any, and then the next controller which had a rumble in it was that I can think of that's like in the timeline would have been like maybe the Dreamcast one, and the attachments for the Dreamcast one like they fit like right in. They had like a nub on the bottom, but like it made it heavier, yes, obviously,
Yeah.
but like it wasn't super awkward and it didn't take extra batteries. So it's like, why would it take extra batteries? It's a wired controller. I never understood that. So it's like I'm not sure. There's some questionable decisions with that.
The like expansion, not expansion port. Yeah,
The
the
memory expansion?
no, the that let you put your
Are you talking
Game Boy
about,
games.
oh, the Game Boy Reader thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not the Game Boy
Yeah, you put
reader,
the
but
it was
the
for like Pokemon.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool.
That was cool. That was definitely cool. Yeah, whenever I saw that, I was actually optimistic about a finally consoleized version of Pokemon coming out. Still waiting. I'm gonna get it now, but still waiting. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, what's your least favorite controller?
Honestly, the ColecoVision had a it was a phone.
Mm-hmm.
I It was a phone.
Yeah, it had that little rotary dial at the top and all the
Yeah, you had
buttons.
your joystick, and then you had 9 buttons with the like pound and star,
Mm-hmm.
and most games had an insert.
Yeah, what's funny about the ColecoVision today is that a lot of people don't have that insert anymore,
No,
so
so you just have no
you
idea,
have no idea because they would have images that would go over the actual number,
which would show you what things did.
so you would yeah you would know, and now a lot of them are just gone.
I will say this: my wife looked everywhere to find me one for Christmas,
All right.
and she got me a copy of War Games with the insert.
Oh, that's really
So I've
cool.
got the little insert in my. It's You can still have fun with it, but the
Mm-hmm.
controller's just dumb.
Yeah.
It's it's so incredibly pointless. Like
It.
it was the first console that I had,
Mm-hmm.
technically.
Because it was your dad's, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he had there was like a wheel,
Mm-hmm.
which was pointless because you had
Left and right.
like
Yeah.
yeah, you had go.
Mm-hmm.
There was like pedals and oh man.
Although, in the interesting point about Coleco was that it came prior to that was the Atari, and it had like a joystick and one button, and like arguably that was too minimalistic.
Two buttons because you had the one on the top.
No,
Didn't you?
no,
I thought there was one
not
on the
the.
side.
There was one button. There was a there is a controller that has an extra button, but that was actually I think for the ColecoVision.
Okay.
But
Fact
anyway,
check us.
but you went from like barely any buttons, and it worked for its time, to way too many.
All of the buttons.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't need to make a phone call. I just
Mm-mm.
need to jump the Smurf over like a tuft of grass.
Yeah,
That's all I need.
yeah. And we do have some honorable mentions. So let's get into those.
Oh,
So we
the
won.
yeah.
So the honorable mention for cool controller that we both wanted to mention was the Dreamcast controller.
That's right.
Yeah,
You totally lost me. Anyways, I'm back with you. The Dreamcast controller was great.
yeah. I really liked the Dreamcast controller. I
There,
felt like it was like really cool innovation because it kind of took like the modular idea of the Nintendo 64, which in its defense was kind of cool that you could like plug in into that one slot a bunch of
yeah.
things. Gave it two of them, and it had the little VMU thing.
The VMUs were super cool. I
Yeah.
liked being able to pop that out
Hmm.
and then have like a mini game I could play somewhere.
Yep. Yeah.
Like that's I know all of the mini games were super basic,
Hmm.
but it's a handheld something you can take with you to school.
Yeah. And it
Chuck it in your backpack.
it is worth mentioning that this is really just an extension of the Sega Saturn 3D controller, but the pressure sensitive L's and R's I always really liked, and it kind of went away up until like the PS3, where in the 360 where it actually had like pressure sensitive L and R2s.
Yep.
So that was really cool because like there was some like flying games that it would actually work well with and stuff like that versus just like the semi pressure sensitive like buttons for the PlayStation 2, for example.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's our honorable mention of a cool controller, and our honorable mention for one that we both dislike. Although great console, but the
The
Nintendo.
NES controller. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why was it a brick?
Not only why was it a brick, but like why was the wire offset on the left side? Like ideally, like they took everything wrong with the Nintendo controller and made it right with the Super Nintendo controller.
Yes.
They moved the wire over to the middle. Arguably they had to because they are L buttons, but like
Yeah.
even if they didn't have it, like putting that in the middle, like you don't have to like hold the controller with like your one finger like crammed up or like underneath it, right? Just because like most people I see play the controller, they're holding their fingers on the top, right?
Yeah.
Like where an R and L button would be. And yeah, the corners are just sharp.
It was very uncomfortable to hold for long periods of time.
Yeah, like
Even short periods of time.
you could develop calluses against it, and that would be okay. But like that would require a lot of like conditioning
Is that
to basically.
okay?
I don't know.
Is it okay to grow a
10-year-old me.
callus?
10-year-old me thought that having calluses on your hands to play with controllers is fine.
I mean, yeah, but very like specific. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Hmm.
no. Everyone like
Oh,
everyone was would get super defensive over it because of the nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's the NES, so it's so amazing. And in
And
like
you know it
nothing
is,
against the
but
console, like the console's great, but the controller was
yeah,
not fantastic. The Genesis controller is so much better.
so much better. Yeah. Let's move on to peripherals that we do like. So would you like to start us off, Ian?
Yeah, for sure. So young Ian, who was super garbage at video games, really loved the Game Shark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember how I got a Game Shark for my PlayStation.
Okay.
Like I never had a Game Genie or anything like that for my systems, but somewhere along the way I picked up a Game Shark, and man, like that totally,
Changed your life.
yeah,
Did you
yeah, it
mainly
was.
use the Game Shark to basically see how to beat it, or just to beat them?
I used it for like I would use it for things like Grand Theft Auto, just to um
Oh, like to
not to
find codes and stuff like that.
yeah, no, like not
Yeah.
necessarily to play through the game, but
Mm-hmm.
just like I want, I need tanks, all the tanks, and just like drive around and cause chaos.
Yeah.
Like it was more of that. I did, oddly enough, this is an interesting, okay, semi interesting story. So when I started playing Final Fantasy VII,
Right.
I didn't have a Game Shark. And then somewhere along the way, Game Shark comes into my life, and
Right.
I'm like, oh, these work together.
Yeah.
I can have max stats. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So I did, and I'm playing through, and then I went away somewhere, and I didn't take the Game Shark with me,
Oh, okay.
and I tried to load up my save file, and it was corrupted,
Oh,
and it wouldn't load it. It wouldn't load without the Game Shark plugged in.
interesting.
Yeah, so I actually ended up starting over again
Mm-hmm.
and working my way through without it,
Hmm.
not knowing. And then years later, figuring out that, oh, it was the Game Shark that
Right.
totally botched this up for me. But
One cool thing about the Game Shark and the PlayStation 1 era is that the generally games have like a debug mode. And there's
yeah,
sometimes like Sonic has a debug mode that you can type in a code and then you can actually get into debug mode. But like Final Fantasy VII, for example, actually has a Game Shark code that puts the game into debug mode and allows you to like see like different things and stuff like that.
yes.
Which is kind of really cool because like it kind of like opened access to some things like that more readily available, and easier than before, where like the debug mode would necessarily not even be there, or the Game Genie couldn't access the debug mode in like some of the games, for example, or they just didn't know how to. But like,
Yeah, and I mean,
yeah,
it was the Game Shark that caused all of that fuss around the hot coffee in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas,
yeah,
because you had to have a Game Shark and
mm-hmm,
enter in this like long ass code, and then oh, you get to bone somebody.
yep,
This game is now adults only,
mm-hmm, yeah,
which I have that copy, and I don't have a Game Shark for my PS2, so who cares?
yeah.
It's still a great game.
Parents care apparently.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
But
they care, but they don't.
JC, what about you?
I've always really liked memory cards. Although I will say that I do love how the Sega CD and the Sega Saturn have internal save memory. I always found it nice being
Yeah.
able to have a save file on the memory card, like during the PS1, PS2 era, being able to go over to my friend's house with my saves and being able to just like bring that instead of my entire console or the cartridge, for example. Well, I guess the cartridge would be basically the same thing, but like in that era,
Yeah.
everything was on discs, so like I didn't have to like bring over as much stuff
But
basically.
even still into the like last generation,
Mm-hmm.
like I had my Xbox Live profile on a flash drive.
Right.
So I would take that with me to a friend's house if we were going to be playing something together. So I
Yeah.
could still log into my profile. And
One.
it's still the same idea. Like a portable memory
Mm-hmm.
is a fantastic idea.
Yeah. It kind of got annoying with the PSP era, like with the
Oh,
PSP,
yeah.
but and whenever it came down to like the 360, like we had like two of us who had a lot of like rock band songs, and we just kind of brought our hard drives out, which is kind of like a memory card, just a
Yeah.
bigger one. But yeah, and we would just like swap in like the hard drive for like, oh, we want to play all of like JC's songs, or we want to play all of like my other friend's songs, because
Yeah,
we tried to not buy the same songs unless we
that's
really
always
liked
been
them.
the cool
So
thing. Like, and even I had the hard drive attachment for my PS2,
hmm
and I would just load on to my memory card what I need, like what I was
yeah,
going to
because
be
you could
playing.
transfer them back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would just transfer stuff around, and I could keep everything in this like hefty vault,
Yeah.
and then just transfer off what I needed if I was going, like if we were going to play Tony Hawk, I could
Yeah.
take my save file because I've got all the tracks unlocked.
Hmm. Yeah. And yeah, so I've always liked memory cards. I thought they were cool.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yours, Ian?
My next one is the Steel Battalion controller.
Do you actually have the Steel Battalion controller?
I don't have the
Oh,
Steel
okay.
Battalion controller.
I've
I
seen it
recently
once.
saw one,
Oh, okay.
and the they had just got it at the game store,
Mm-hmm.
and I was looking at it, and I'm like, man, that's so cool. He's like, yeah, it is. And he looked at me, and he's like, you want to touch the buttons, don't you? And I'm like, yeah. And he
Yeah.
like turns it around for me. He's like, have at her, man. And I
Cool.
like it had a button for your windshield wipers.
Oh, cool.
Like it was so huge and so like well thought out.
Mm-hmm.
And what I loved was that there was no tutorial mission. It was just you're in this mech
Right.
in a garage.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Yeah. Yeah, you're a mech pilot. How do you not know how to handle this?
Yeah, I saw the Steel Battalion controller once whenever I worked at EB Games the one year. Somebody brought it in, and I was just like, that thing's really big. Like,
Yeah, it was
I
massive.
I don't really know if I want it.
We needed you needed like a large table because each section was probably like the main section was probably about like this big,
Yeah.
and then there was two smaller sections on each
Yeah,
side
the
that
two
was at least
wings.
like this.
Yeah.
Like there was just there was so
did
much
it work
on
with
there.
more than one game?
Steel Battalion.
But there wasn't the Steel Battalion 2?
There was a Steel Battalion too, and I think
Okay.
there was a third one as well. That's all that it worked with.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be curious to see what you could get away with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that would be an interesting
I'm
game to try to play, or a controller to try to play
Some
something
people
else
have
with.
beaten like I don't know, like Dark Souls on a Guitar Hero controller and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like the Steel Battalion controller would be something fun to
yeah.
complete something stupid on. But no, it was such a well-designed controller. Like I've
Mhm.
seen flight sticks before, and I've seen like steering wheels, and like yeah, they have cool features on them,
Mhm.
and that's awesome. But this was
This
200
is a
bucks.
freaking mech.
Like it was 200 bucks. Came with the game that you like that yeah, it came with the game which is like 70 bucks. So I mean really it's only like 130. So
Like that's his original price?
yeah, it was like
Oh, I
it
thought
was
it was
only
like
like
a $300
200
or
bucks.
$400 peripheral.
No, man.
Oh, okay.
It was like yeah, it's a reasonable price. The quality was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything felt great. There was a lot of actual metal parts.
Yeah.
It yeah, it was just very very well done. Um, the game was okay, but the controller was
The
just
controller.
amazing. Oh my god! I mean, you end up in that. What do you do? Like that was as I'm like oh man, I gotta buy this right now. But then I'm like,
Where am I gonna put
where am I
it?
gonna put this? I'm gonna pull it out. Like I'm gonna leave it out immediately. I'm gonna play Steel Battalion for a couple hours.
Yeah, and then
You're
you're
like,
probably never gonna play it again.
Cool. Now what do I do
Yeah.
with this? So I mean, it's super cool. It's super well designed and like well made. At least I thought so.
Mhm.
But again, you run into that where do I put it? So
Cool.
Your next like?
My next peripheral that I really like are two branded arcade sticks. Either Adark, which is the brand of my PlayStation 1, and Hori. Both of them make very good quality arcade sticks, and as I went over in their fighting games episode, we which we talked about fighting games. Went over some arcade sticks and stuff, and yeah, I just really like those brands, and would highly recommend them to either like arcade emulation on like the Switch and stuff like that, or fighting games. And yeah, Hori and 8-Arc arcade sticks. Yours?
The Guitar Hero for the DS.
Yeah.
I know again something I mentioned in our rhythm game episode.
Yep.
But yeah, it was really well designed. It worked perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks really cool. The next time I'm over, I would like to try that. It looks cool.
Yeah, no, I would love you to. Like, just the way it wraps around, you hold it perfectly. Like,
Hmm.
it probably wouldn't work as well with like a little kid,
Yeah.
but I think I remember a strap.
Yeah, it looked like there was a strap on it.
So yeah, like it's still at least attached to your hand. Yeah, like it was just very well thought out for something that when I first saw it or heard of Guitar Hero on the DS, I'm like,
Hmm.
that's gonna be dumb.
Yeah.
That's just gonna be a lot of tapping.
One of the things that I thought was kind of dumb about it whenever it first came out was I only have 4 buttons versus 5. I'm like, why does it only have 4 buttons? But then, I get it. There's 4 buttons on the thing. How else are you supposed to hold the controller?
Yeah,
But
there's
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but no, well done, well designed. I liked it. Your next one?
So the PlayStation Portables component cables.
Ooh,
To me that was a selling point. I've always really enjoyed the Game Boy player and Game Boy Advance players for those systems. And the component cables just allowed me to connect the actual console to the television. And its upscaling was all right on some monitors. Like I have a PC monitor with a TV card on it at the time, and it was a little bit wonky because it actually like could read 240p,
oh,
which was the console. So I had to like do some stretching and stuff. But yeah, it was definitely a really really high selling point for me on the console. As soon as the PSP 2000 came out, then I got the PlayStation PSP, and yeah, I just it's so more it's way more convenient. It's kind of in a bad spot, but for its functionality, I put up with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
How else are you gonna play Third Birthday?
Yeah. Right. Anyway, your next one.
The DJ Hero controller. It yeah, it hit the mark as far as what they were going for. Um, and I think my favorite thing about it was it hits that issue I have with pretty much all of the rhythm games like that.
Okay.
Is that it separates into two pieces to
Right.
make it a little bit easier to store.
Yeah, and I do know the special edition of it, like it has a case to put in too.
Yeah, this I mean the special edition was like it was like a briefcase.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, bigger,
Mhm.
taking up more space. This little guy just like you like slide the thing on the back and just like whoop,
Mhm.
and you can stack them. They fit really nicely in like a drawer, or
Mhm.
I think I had them in an ottoman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it storage easy. I love that they thought that out
Yeah.
because that's something that's very important to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's being able to put stuff away.
Cool. Cool.
How about you?
So I really like the concept of the Sega fishing controller for the Dreamcast. I thought it was really cool
How
because,
else are you gonna play Sega Bass Fishing?
yeah, I know, right? Well, it's
Don't waste my time, JC.
that game was actually originally in the arcade, which had the whole thing, so that's why they probably released it. But uh, it's kind of interesting how like there's many different styles of fishing games, but just it kind of makes the game a little bit more fun in my opinion. It just kind of it is a little gimmicky, but I forgive it. Yeah, I just think it's really really cool. So yeah, I'd like to get one of the first party ones one of these days. But one of these days it'll be sit down and play some Sega Bass Fishing or Sega Marine Fishing.
Yeah, until you get that, I'm not interested.
Fair enough. See, it sells the game.
Always.
Yeah. So their last two are actually two of them that we both
Yeah,
highly
we
agree
both
on.
kind of dug these.
And our first one is the light guns. It's one of my favorite things about the arcade is light gun games. That and
That's
pinball. But
same. Yeah.
yeah.
The anything else is kind of
Hmm.
not as great, not as exciting.
Yeah. And I was kind of really disappointed and depressed about how the HD television and stuff like that couldn't actually play all the light guns because of the way that the technology works. And it's like, well, now I got to keep this old like tube television. And they eventually started to like make the light gun peripheral for the Wii. And then some of the games were released on the Wii store, I think. Like the Hogan's Alley, I think was one of them.
Yeah.
And they could have released more of them, but they just don't because it's kind of a niche. But
It is.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And the aim controller for the PSVR was really cool too, which is like on technically, and
Yeah.
it's kind of neat because it gives that like actual gun experience to all the first person shooter games. The in for that peripheral, and yeah, light guns are just awesome.
Yeah, light guns are a lot of fun, but the neat thing is that kind of leads into the other one that we both really like,
Yes, it
which is
does.
the PSVR.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's kind of a console, but it's kind of not. But
I wouldn't say it's a console. It's for sure an add-on.
yeah, no, it definitely is an
You can't
add-on, but
really
it's
put
just
it doesn't have its own game. Well, it has its
no,
own games,
it's a
but a lot of its other stuff, it
mhm.
does have stuff that will work both ways.
Yeah.
And it just kind of enhances your experience.
Yeah. I remember there I was at a local kind of it's on kind of like a Canada's Wonderland. I think it was at Canada's Wonderland actually, where they had like Doom in VR in like '96 or something like that. I'm like, whoa,
Yes.
coolest thing ever. And then looking back on it, it was pretty dumb. But and then the Virtual Boy came out, and it's like, okay, why is it only two colors? And it's like VR then just sort of died, and there was no hope. And then now it's coming back. And although there's a lot of people who are 50-50 about this, but like they're backing it, and it's definitely really fun.
Yeah, you know what? I thought the whole VR thing was really gimmicky for the
Hmm.
longest time, and then someone convinced me to go to like a VR arcade
Right.
and give it a shot, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I think it was like $20 for an hour. So I
Hmm.
mean, it's not a massive investment,
No.
but yeah, I went, and now that was the HTC Vive,
Right.
which is fantastic.
Yeah, the high end machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real good, but
Hmm.
which in all honesty put me on the fence a little bit about the PSVR. But no, when I put the Vive on, and you're in this like cubicle by yourself, and you're just like taken somewhere, I'm like, oh man, like
Hmm.
you lose track of time, you lose track of your space,
Yeah.
like where you are physically in the
Hmm.
actual world, because you're just so focused on like,
Yeah.
oh man, like I can just grab this thing over here. I'm just gonna walk over here and grab that thing
Yeah.
because that's what I want to have. And yeah, I a friend of mine actually was working for, I think, Sony,
Okay.
and she was demoing the PSVR
Cool.
at a local game store, and I went and um, tried it out. Actually, we did the kitchen demo for Resident Evil 7.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I mean, it's not as high quality as the Vive.
No.
It's not. But
Yeah,
again,
because
it's
isn't the
it's
Vive
a
like 4K?
I don't know.
I think
if
there
it's-
is a
I
version
think
that's
there, yeah, I
4K.
think you're right. But again, you're not paying five or
Yeah.
$600. Well, 500 or 600 now, because the price has come down. But
Yeah,
I
but
mean, at the
originally
time, it
they
was like,
were like 1,000 or something,
yeah,
1,500, and then you would need a very, very good machine to play on it as well.
yeah,
It's an
because not
investment.
not
Not that
every
I don't
video
have a
card,
computer that can't run it,
right? But
but
not every video card. So you need a
hmm
powerful machine plus this attachment.
hmm
Whereas at least with the PS4,
yeah,
uh, all you really need is a base model.
hmm
You need your standard PS4, and
yep,
then you buy the PSVR. And really, the experience that I get within the PSVR is equally as good.
yeah,
I mean, you run into some issues because with the Vive, you have motion tracking from all around you.
you have more than one camera. Which
Yeah,
I think I'm hoping at least with the PlayStation 5 and their enhancements to the VR, they add in the functionality to maybe add in a couple extra cameras. Because I know the PlayStation camera does have two cameras in it, so it does help, but you don't have like a camera behind you. Like there's been a couple times where like I've lost track of myself,
yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm like literally in the corner of the room facing like the corner of the room, and I'm just like, why isn't the tracking working? And then I pull the visor helmet out, and I'm like, oh, I'm sitting over and I'm standing over in the corner. I
Yeah.
moved.
And like my favorite VR games to play are things that put me in a virtual space
Hmm.
and let me interact with that space.
Yeah.
And like Job Simulator,
Right.
virtual reality,
Yeah. And
like
especially
that
like
kind of
even if the game
I expect
allows
you to
you,
die.
some of the VR games they center you and you moving around doesn't really do anything, but you moving your head around does. And then some of them you actually have that box to move around in. Most of them you do now.
And
But like if you
sometimes you can get yourself turned around, and then
yeah.
all of a sudden you're like, it's like not registering, and I'm like,
Mhm.
what? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's mainly because like especially with like the aim controller, it uses the light ball on the end of the aim controller. So if your back is facing to the camera, there's a light in the back of the VR helmet, so it kind of understands where you're looking. But like you might like not have the aim controller like light ball. It
Yeah,
can't
it's
see
not
it.
registering.
So if you had one behind you, it would definitely fix it. Yeah. One thing I'd like to mention too with the PlayStation VR, Sony actually recently patented a VR glove, which it kind of looks like an oven mitt now. But it
Virtual baking.
yeah, it'll be Cooking Mama VR. I guess it's Nintendo, but still.
Job simulator too.
Yeah, but like in Ready Player One, they have like that entire suit that's like it can actually like it notices all of your movement and stuff like that, and uh, other functionality as well. But if they can get the gloves to work, like, and actually make it like a commercialized product that doesn't cost an insane amount of money, that'll be so cool and move that kind of the VR gaming forward to be instead of having to use the two move controllers. If you can actually like physically like grab something and if it like puts pressures on your fingers so like it feels like you actually have something in your hand, for example, and you swing a sword or like actually like move a bow or like pick up a cup of coffee or something like that or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, yeah, once I get that working and like the full like suit, plug me into the freaking Matrix,
Yeah.
man. I'm done. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, those are the peripherals that we enjoyed. Let's get into peripherals that we dislike. I'll start. Anything fucking Mad Cats. Oh my god. The only exceptions to this are the TE2 Plus arcade fighting stick. It is a pro fighting stick that a lot of professionals use, and I have used it. It is a very good fighting stick. And they made the Rock Band equipment and some of the Guitar Hero equipment, and those were good to an extent. Like they played really well, and like I guess some of them broke down, but yeah, anything friggin' Mad Cats. I have countless stories from my childhood, middle school, high school, of people buying like a Mad Catz controller, and then like they would have bought in 3 controllers, and I would have only bought in one extra controller, but they would have all died, and I still had my original controllers or the memory card. And it's like the memory card and the memory card doesn't work anymore. It's like, well, it doesn't have as many read writes or something like that. There were some brands that were worse, but yeah. Generally, a third party memory card was not a good idea. The buttons on the third party controller were a terrible idea, and a lot of them were Mad Cats. There's a reason why they filed for bankruptcy a few years ago. Apparently, they're back, though. We'll
Back
see
in
how that
business
goes.
now. They're back.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mad Cats. Grr. There's a reason why I didn't buy any Mad Cat shit. Yours, Ian?
Any of the bullshit plastic Wii attachments.
Yeah, I totally agree with this one.
I had the misfortune of working in retail when the Wii was released.
Okay.
And I saw so many parents get fleeced for some bullshit piece of plastic
Right.
that is not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need.
You don't like the Wii racing wheel?
No.
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 It's
I don't
so
I don't like
bad.
I don't like the Wii golf club. I don't like the Wii baseball bat. I don't like the Wii bowling ball.
Yeah.
The Wii bowling ball that
Well-
you put your Wii remote in and then
I did not know about that until you told me about it before this episode.
the
It looks
dumbest
fucking stupid.
bullshit.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about the baseball bat was there was a Genesis baseball bat thing and a Super Nintendo baseball bat third-party peripheral. I don't remember what it was called. It doesn't really matter. And that was terrible. And whenever they made the thing with the like it was like the plastic nub on the end for the bat. I was just like, it's just this all over again.
That's what most of their accessories were plastic attachments.
Yeah, just went into the
Just
friggin' ocean.
Click onto the that's
Yeah.
horse shit.
Mhm.
That's not no.
Yeah.
And they weren't cheap.
No, they were.
They were cheaply made,
Yeah.
but they weren't cheap. Like you could have bought a game instead of this stupid fucking wheel.
Yeah. Although I think I
What?
think it came with Mario Kart 7. There was a copy of it that actually came with a wheel,
It's
but
that's
still
still
dumb.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's still dumb.
There's no need for it. It was so unnecessary. There was even an inflatable cart.
Hmm?
There was an inflatable cart that had a wheel. You click your remote into the wheel, and you would sit in this inflatable cart and
Oh,
Mario
yes.
Kart.
Okay,
Bullshit.
yeah.
Don't need
Yeah.
it.
Big note though, we're not talking about the light gun though. The link bow thing that
Yeah,
actually
the
was fairly
because
useful.
it converted your um, controller into
Yeah, and
a light gun. They
it
didn't have an actual light gun for the system.
yeah.
That was their version of a
Yeah,
light
you
gun.
put in the Wii mode, and it is a big plastic attachment for it, but it was functional and usable for the most part.
Honestly, when I bought it, I took I took the Wii remote and nunchuck and put them in and
Hmm.
left them.
Yeah,
It was just a light gun at that point.
yeah. It was a godsend whenever that came out to me because there was a House of the Dead 2 and 3 combo pack for the Wii, and I
Yep.
was like, all right, I can play these games again. This is awesome.
Well, that was the only way. Oh, and there's you got a new House of the Dead on the Wii,
Hmm.
of all places,
Yeah,
with so many fucks in it.
yeah.
Odd. But anyways, what's one that you dislike?
I don't dislike the Joy-Con controller per se, but definitely the horizontal mode for the Joy-Con controller. And what I mean by that is, one sec. Holding it like this, it's way too close. Like I don't get it. I constantly hitting my fingers to each other, and then these buttons don't really feel great. It sucks. It just makes me mad. I get that the controller, if they were evenly spaced out, and then you had like it on the console or in the actual controller, like case, like
Yeah.
the thing that made it a controller, would like not make as much sense if they were evenly spaced. That's fine. But the whole idea of it, a large idea of the selling point of the Switch whenever it first came out was, oh, it's on the go and it can be 4 players on the go, and it's like, yeah, but like I don't want to be doing this constantly with my thumbs constantly hitting each other just to play Bomberman. Like,
I
oh,
mean, I disagree on this one because I find that most of the things that you can detach and play in horizontal mode are fairly simple as far as button controls go.
yeah, but like playing like Mario Kart with the four of those, like
Nah,
I dislike it a lot. Especially since like most of the games that I have on the Switch anyway use the Pro controller,
mm,
and it's like I would rather pay the $100 for the Pro controller 4 times, and then just tell people to use a Pro controller on that little, like if I was gonna play it on the little the actual like not docked. I would rather do that with 4 people than use the four little Joy Cons. Yeah, dislike it. Your next one, Ian?
Rock Band.
Rock Band.
Fuck Rock Band.
All right.
The game's like there's nothing wrong with the game,
Okay.
but
Now, are you talking about like all Rock Band peripherals, or are you just talking about some of them?
I mean,
Like, do you like the guitars?
okay. I'll be honest, I think I've got 3 guitars sitting behind my couch
Mm-hmm.
at home, and that's fine. I've got two for the PS2 and one for the Xbox
Oh
because
wow.
that's the only places that I own Guitar Hero. But Rock Band? Fuck Rock Band.
Fair enough.
You need a dedicated space for these drums.
The other drums are pretty dumb.
Ugh, fuck that.
I
I
have
mean,
the original box, so I just put them in there, but I had to like fold it up and put it back in the box.
Rock Band, a Rock Band drum kit sitting out is the like mid 2000s like 20 somethings apartment accessory.
It
Like that's you go into any
was basically college life.
yeah, there's a fucking rock band drum kit sitting there
Mm-hmm.
off to the side, probably with a t-shirt on it, maybe a couple t-shirts, maybe a pair of pants. Like
Maybe.
it's just a it's just such a pain in the ass. There's no you're going to pull it out, you're going to play it one night while everyone's having a few drinks, you're going to have fun, And then what the fuck do you do for the other 6 days other than let it collect dust and clothing?
Yeah.
Unless you keep the box and pack it away every single time. And then you still
Which
have
is
this
annoying.
big-ass box.
Yeah.
I'm going to be too drunk when I finish playing Rock Band to put away the drum kit.
Fair enough.
And the next day I'm going to be too hungover to, like, tear it down. I'm going to have to lay on a couch and play Blood Bowl all day. Yeah, Rock Bands. No. No.
Fair enough.
JC.
There's like this accessory peripheral that controllers have, which are these little kind of nubs that go on the analog sticks. Why?
Okay,
Like I get
you
some.
are not a professional Fortnite player. You don't understand.
No, because I would be playing it on the PC if I was.
Okay. I mean, I'm not either, so I don't understand. I haven't played Fortnite since they added in Battle Royale. I liked it better when it was a zombie
Yeah.
base building game.
Yeah. I don't I like I know some people wear them out, but like if you're gonna wear them out, like even putting that little nub thing on it, it's still gonna be lopsided. So why wouldn't you just get a new controller at that point?
Yeah.
Like seriously, why wouldn't you just get a new controller or learn like you can get like a glove basically, which I've seen some people use so that they have better grip and stuff like that. If you don't have good enough grip with your thumbs that you keep on like sliding your thumbs and rubbing the analog sticks out, think about getting those like a golfing glove basically is essentially what
Maybe
it
it's a
is.
traction thing,
Yeah, it could be, but like even those gloves add the traction, but like
but then you're wearing gloves.
that's
Oh,
yeah.
like what's the trade-off? Douchey gloves or douchey nubs?
Gloves you can challenge people to a duel at least.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. So I don't know. You let us know in the comments down below. Do you use those? Why?
Professional Fortnite players?
Yeah. Probably Rocket League.
All right.
Yeah. Your last one, Ian?
Amiibos.
Oh, come on. Amiibos?
Fuck amiibos.
All right. Why do you
It's
dislike amiibos?
because it's a $20 piece of plastic that has like zero
They're like
use.
$8.
Yeah, if you get them immediately.
If you can find them
If you
immediately.
get it immediately, sure, you're gonna pay
It's so
a
hard to
reasonable
get.
price
So
for it.
I couldn't
And
get the
then
latest link that came out like a month ago because didn't get to the store soon enough. They
Yep.
only got like 2 of them. They're like,
Yep.
oh, sorry, we didn't do any pre-orders, and they went out.
go on
Yeah.
eBay and pay $30 for it.
It's only 30. The Toon Link and Toon Zelda, they're like $50.
Yeah, fuck that.
I know.
Fuck amiibos. Fuck Skylanders. Fuck Lego Dimensions. Fuck anything that makes me buy a bunch of little figures that I'm not gonna care about.
They're cool collectibles. In their defense.
Are they?
I don't know. I have them in a glass case.
Yeah,
right
I
over
know you
there.
have them in a glass case. You have a bunch of cool ass games in there, and then you got a bunch of dumbass amiibos. I'm very conflicted about it.
All right. Well, maybe I'll switch it around for you.
I'm gonna be a picture on my Instagram. You'll be conflicted too. Amiibos are dumb.
All right.
I never understood. I never understood the appeal from the moment that they released them. They're like, oh, you're gonna get some bonus content. Just give me bonus content. I will pay. I will give you $10 for you to just give me the extra content. Don't give me a piece of plastic shaped like fucking Samus because I need to have that. If I really wanted a Samus action figure, I would go buy a fucking Samus action figure, and I would get a better one than the fucking $8 one that they're gonna sell me.
See, sure, maybe get a better one, but your point on the actual like extra functionality of them, that I do find kind of dumb. I think the cards amiibos that they have is a lot better idea and system because like I've never opened up any of the amiibos that I bought. I buy them for collectible purposes and just to be able to look like, hey, cool, look, it's an amiibo. Apparently, Ian's tilted by it, but you know.
It's because they're so dumb. I cannot get behind
Yeah.
it. I cannot get behind amiibos.
Like I do know.
I've tried.
Mhm.
I've tried to get myself hyped to be like, oh yeah, a treasure goblin for Diablo. That's kind of cool.
You just make them
No,
appear.
fuck it.
Yeah.
And then
The one that did make
make
me mad was the dual pack one that I have, which is the Metroid one. One of them is a gallery, which okay, sure, whatever. But you can't unlock that by just gameplay. And the other one I think is the hardest difficulty mode, and you can't use the hardest difficulty mode unless you use the amiibo. That was kind of questionable.
Yeah, that's dumb.
That's kind of dumb. But I
Like,
like the actual collectibles, like as a figure. They kind of like pop figures to me. I don't know.
then buy a pop figure.
I do.
I
I have some over there. Hey, you have a bunch of pop figures on your computer desk that are all League of Legends.
I have a couple ADCs
Yep.
because I support my ADCs.
Cool.
Well, I no, anyways. We're moving on because I'm just gonna keep getting angry. Our next thing is peripherals that we have a solid love-hate relationship with, as opposed to a straight-up hate for amiibos.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm
Do you want to start?
give me a minute to
All
wind
right.
down.
Cool.
Let me recenter.
This is gonna be really controversial, but I'll start. Power Glove. It's so bad.
You know, it's funny because the other day we were talking about the Power Glove, and I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that most of the Power Gloves that I see are a nice like yellow.
Yeah.
And I understand that that's the plastic
Yep.
and like sun damage, but most
Mm-hmm.
of the ones, very rarely do I see one that's actually like pristine and gray.
Yeah, mine's not
Usually,
pristine, but it's not super yellowed. But yeah, I thought the glove was kind of neat idea whenever I was a kid. And I still think it's a kind of a neat idea. It's very uncomfortable. It's very hard on your knuckles because it's like the pieces of plastic with the sensors in them are very hard. And some of the way that you control some of the games are very, very dumb because it's like they didn't really know what to do with it. But the concept is really cool, and like as like I mentioned a couple minutes ago with the new PSVR gloves that are coming out
potentially.
potentially. Well, they have a patent for it.
Yeah.
It will happen eventually. Like that's what I kind of see with that similar type of technology moving forward, where it's just kind of like an actual functional piece of software. But yeah, so I acknowledge that it's kind of dumb, but like it's kind of cool too. I don't know. The concept is kind of neat to me. Yeah. Back to you, Ian.
This might be a little contradictory because I said fuck Rock Band, but the Donkey Kong bongos,
Mm-hmm.
they function so well.
Yep.
Like they're so on point for something that you beat the shit out of. Like I never I have 4 of them. We've played tons of it and I've never had one not be responsive.
Is the game 4 players?
It is 4 players.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
great. And
They're not as big though,
four
because you
player
could fit
is
them
the
in one large box, which is kind of nicer.
yeah, like each one is probably about this big.
Mm-hmm. Like two consoles put beside each other, like GameCube
It'd
consoles.
be like a GameCube and a half.
Okay, yeah.
They're not massive, but then when you have 4 of them,
Mm-hmm.
it takes up some space, and that's kind of the thing that I don't like is again, it's the where the hell do I put this
Mm-hmm.
when I'm done with it? It's
Yeah.
something that you've got to like pack away. Oddly enough, I came across mine today looking for something else, which I will mention in a minute, but yeah, they work so well.
Mm-hmm.
The responsiveness was just fantastic, and there really wasn't too many. I mean, there was Guitar Hero, but there really wasn't like a lot of rhythm games that were drum based. Taiko Drum Master, maybe,
Yeah. No, it was
but we
definitely
didn't have
less.
much in
Yeah.
North America.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, how the hell else am I gonna play some Blink 182 on a bongo?
On
Tell me. Anyways,
the controller, maybe. I'm not sure.
maybe. What about you, JC? What do you
DDR dance pads. Yeah.
Okay.
I really like the game. And I think it's a really cool concept, but they take up a lot of space. So
I
that's
saw
why.
so many people eat shit because of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't have the like adhesive on the back,
Oh,
or
okay.
like had gone down, or it was
Yeah.
a third party.
Yeah,
It was
some of them
just
were.
like
Yeah, with the official Konami ones had like a black, like a very sticky back on them.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
no,
Or if you put them on carpet, then sometimes they move around too. But yeah,
yeah. I definitely saw a lot of people go down.
yeah.
That was my favorite part about DDR.
Yeah, I have like 5 or 6 of these mats, so they take up a lot of space. They're in like a large like U-Haul box in the basement since I haven't played the games in a few
Yeah,
years.
you
But
can't even like tight roll them like a yoga mat.
no, but they the official ones, like you can fold them into a square, so it is kind of nicer. And as long as you fold them in the same spots constantly, then it won't overly wear out the actual wires inside and stuff. Uh, but yeah, so they take up a lot of space. They're kind of fun and cool, so I put it on my love hate relationship list. Your next one, Ian?
The the thing that I was looking for,
Mm-hmm.
the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controllers.
Yeah.
So I have both of these.
Oh, okay.
I have the GameCube and the PS2.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, and they look so cool.
Mm-hmm.
They were very well done. Well, not even arguably, hands down, the PlayStation 2 was done so much better.
Oh, okay.
It was in an actual plastic case, like display case
Oh,
with
okay.
like felt on the bottom. It was cool. Um,
Nice. Yeah, I've
but
never actually had a chance to play on one of those Resident Evil 4 controllers. Is it awkward to play with?
incredibly,
Oh, okay.
it is
So
incredibly
it's just a
awkward to play
cool.
with. They
Yeah.
look so cool, but they're just so awkward to play with. Now, I will say that the PS2 version
Mm-hmm.
actually has like a motion control mechanic in it
Oh, okay.
where you can lift it up to have Leon lift his gun.
Cool.
So that was kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's one of those like you will never use it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I used to play Animal Crossing with my GameCube one.
Awesome.
Just because it was you don't need any fast twitch reflexes with Animal Crossing, except for the money stone. That you do. But
Okay.
for the most part, like, yeah, you wouldn't want to play something that requires like any kind of like fast reflexes because the
Right.
controller was just so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's for me. I love it. I hate it. You got one more?
Yeah, I got one more. The multi-tap adapters for the PlayStation 1 and 2.
That's a weird one because I figured you'd love this.
Oh, I do, but it's an extra added cost that Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast players didn't have to buy. So that's kind of why I was like, it kind of sucks, but it's really cool to be able to play Crash Team Racing with 4 people, right?
I think they just assumed the PlayStation people didn't have friends.
But they did,
I
so.
mean, some of us did.
But yeah, so I really liked the adapters because it did allow me to play 4 players on certain games. There wasn't that many of them, but there was enough of them, and yeah, so the multi-tap adapters, and I was that guy who had them. So yeah, yeah. Our next mini segment is some interesting mentions that we wanted to go through.
Yeah, just kind of stuff that didn't really fit into the.
Yeah, so I figured we would just finish it off with a few of these. Um, I'll mention the first one was I wanted to mention and call out the Saturn 3D controller. It came out about a month after the Nintendo 64 controller, or within a month, and it was really, really interesting. A lot of people actually don't know about it, and a lot of people definitely didn't know about it whenever it came out.
Because nobody owned a Saturn.
Yeah, unless they had basically had heard of Knights or had played it, because that was kind of like a big noticeable game for the console anyway.
Well, they had a big marketing push behind Knights.
Yeah. And so what was really neat about it is that like it was very useful for some games such as Nights into Dreams and Croc and Tomb Raider, where like Croc, which I've mentioned in a previous episode, it took the tank controls, which were annoying if you don't like tank controls, and especially for like a 3D platforming game. And it actually made it non-tank controls, which is really, really cool. And I find a lot of people's frustration with like that game and with the original Tomb Raider is that you had to use those controls with the platforming.
Yeah.
And then this kind of took that away from it. So it wasn't until like the re-releases of some of the games where it had DualShock functionality and stuff like that, that you basically had to be stuck with the digital controlling. And yeah, it's just there's some games that it worked with, and I thought that was really, really cool. So I figured I would mention it as an interesting mention.
Yeah, because it was a way better designed controller than the N64 controller.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's just really unfortunate that I think if they would have sold more consoles, then at least in North America, because it was very successful in Japan, the Saturn, that we would have had way more games that used it, and then the awareness of it would have been a lot more.
Yeah.
And maybe like they didn't even sell it with the console either, so maybe there was, I don't know if there was a bundle that came with Knights and the controller, but I'm
There-
uncertain.
Yeah, there was because I think that was the only way you could get Knights for a while.
No, Knights came in a larger box
With
whenever
the
it first came
controller.
out with a controller, but I mean a console
Oh, a
and the
console
game and
Knight.
the
Okay,
controller.
okay. No, no, no.
Yeah, I don't think there was in North America anyway. There could have been, who knows. Your interesting mention?
The Samba de Amigo for the Dreamcast. Yeah, maracas.
Yeah.
You got to plug into the little like bar, and you gotta
Mm-hmm.
kind of play over it. It's weird, but I mean, it's functional. And what I kind of enjoy the most about it is that the maracas are still maracas
Mm-hmm.
when they're not plugged in.
Right.
They still have like
Yeah, they have actual like
stuff in the
rice in
like
them or something. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
So
probably
you
plastic, but yeah.
yeah, but you can still like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. It's a weird game. And it has a play mat to stand on too, which is
Oh, it does? I didn't know that.
yeah, there's a plastic mat to put in front of
I
the
don't
little
remember that.
bar.
Okay.
Yeah, I've definitely got a plastic mat with what's his name? Amigo, I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay.
Amigo the monkey on it. Yeah. It's pretty weird.
Cool.
But yeah, it just I mean, it's not something that I love. I don't really hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love I don't have a love-hate relationship with it. It's just it's cool. It's an interesting peripheral and it's something that gets overlooked a lot because it was on
Right.
the Dreamcast.
Yeah. My last one, which I'll finish up with, is which I really wanted as a kid. And it's kind of funny because now if I got it, it's absolutely useless. But the Game Gear TV tuner, it doesn't even work anymore.
No. But it would have at the time.
It,
I really wanted one of these too because I was
yeah.
like, I can watch TV at school.
I remember asking for it, but I think it was like $100 or $200 or
It
something
was
like that.
expensive.
So I never ended up getting it. And yeah, it seemed really cool. I know a lot of people put this on a list of like really bad peripherals on their lists, but I don't know. 10, 12-year-old me really wanted it and
Same.
would have used it, been able, because we only had one main television at our house, so I would have been able to watch like Saturday morning cartoons on it and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, Game Gear TV tuner.
Actually, I got one more.
Okay, go ahead.
That it doesn't really fit anywhere. Just the Microsoft Kinect.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, again, it's not something that I love. I don't hate it. I don't have a weird relationship with it. It's just it's uh, their motion control is really well done.
Yeah, I
I
do
found.
recall like reading and seeing reviews on YouTube about like how its motion sensitivity was very, very good. Um, and I just never really used it.
So what
Like,
was cool was you could if you turned off the lights while it was on,
mm-hmm.
you would actually see you could see the green field
Okay.
that it was projecting out.
Right.
So I mean, you're still just breaking um like a light bar,
Mm-hmm.
but it tracked your motion so well.
Right.
It was an underutilized concept because they only kind of used it for gimmicky purposes.
Right.
It was all,
Yeah, because
rhythm-based games.
they had those like that purple bar of like Connect compatible, and there
Yeah.
wasn't very many of them.
No, I found it was mostly rhythm games.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even
it
like
was
the PlayStation, I didn't have very many games, and a lot of them were rhythm as well. So
except Eye of Judgment.
yeah, that's true.
Eye of Judgment.
Yeah, guess we'll put that in as an interesting mention as well.
Eye of Judgment, AR card game.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot of those.
Nope.
Maybe there is. I don't know. But that one was
Yeah.
really cool. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was really neat.
Yeah.
But we could go on all day. That's kind of some of the stuff that we dug. What's your favorite controller? What's your least favorite controller?
Yeah, let us know in the comments down below.
Weird peripherals that you love?
Mm-hmm.
Did we miss something that we shouldn't have?
Yeah, there's probably a handful of peripherals that we didn't go over, but yeah, let us know what you think in the
What are your
comments down
thoughts
below.
on Rock Band? Good? Bad? Coat hanger?
This is a coat hanger, towel rack.
Towel rack? Were you too drunk the next day to put it away? Were you laying on a couch playing Blood Bowl? If you were, make sure to like.
Yep. I guess that's one like if you like the video yourself.
That's me.
But yeah, so that ends this episode of Peripherals. If you do give us a like, that definitely help us out. and share the content with other people that you think may like the content.
Absolutely.
And yeah, stay tuned next week for the next episode.
And don't forget to subscribe for continuous content.
Yeah, and hit the little notification bell if you want to be notified.
Absolutely.
See you next time.